All right. I'm live. So this is just going to be a real quick, or as quick as I can make a video, because I was struggling with this for the last, I don't know, week, off and on. I would mess with it for like 10 minutes. I basically I have a PF firewall. I also use private internet access VPN, and you can see that on the screen here. And let me pull over. Let me make sure there's nothing sensitive here. I'll pull over my PF Sense. So these are just, I had to redo the PF Sense. And basically, the deal is I have my security camera, my NVR. So I have a couple security cameras, and they're connected to a centralized NVR. And that's on, I put that on a different subnet than my main subnet. So let's do this. Makes sense. This'll make a little bit. Where'd that go? There it is. All right. So my cameras I put on 10.0.1.0/24, and the rest of my stuff, my wireless devices, and I may subnet it out more later, but the rest of my stuff is just on like this computer I'm on right now, which is what I check my cameras with, and phones and whatnot. But computer 10.0.0.0/24. So basically, if you don't know, the /24 is a network subnet mask. So all the IP addresses would be like 10.14 or 10.2 up to 10.254, I think, or 253. But the problem is, by default, there's a few things you have to do to be able to have a computer talk to a different subnet. So and it complicates things if you're using a VPN. So private internet access, why I like it, one of the reasons is it has split tunnel. So you can have certain apps bypass and not use the VPN, apparently. It seems to work pretty good for most things. However, you run into issues when you're subnetting out and you have two different subnets. So like a 10.0.0, because by default Windows operating system won't talk to stuff on different subnets, and it becomes confusing. So I have private internet access that could be not allowing something to work. I have like an enterprise grade router. PF Sense like has enterprise or like high end options that are found on, really expensive routers. And right now everything's opened up. So because I just redid it, so I'll lock that down later. But you may run into this. So let me show you. See if we can get the cameras open. Well, so let's open up this. See, none of the cameras are coming through. And if we go to the NVR here, device manager, devices, it says it can't find the device. And that's what I was having. Now, if I shut off the VPN, then I can connect to it. So there was a couple things I had to do. I only allow certain IPs to connect to the NVR. So they have to be whitelisted. So I figured that out. I added it, and then I could connect the computer with this, with the private internet, the VPN with that turned off, right? Next, I thought maybe pfSense was blocking it. So I tried opening stuff up. I tried adding rules, port rules. I tried passing traffic from these two subnets back and forth. And also one thing that I don't see a lot of people talk about is Windows firewall. So if you're trying to pass traffic through different subnets, you have to in here add a here. Add a oh, here, camera test. Basically you add a scope rule, and I was testing some stuff so I can remove these now. But this local IP address, so this is an outbound rule, so going out from this subnet, which is what I'm on right now, my main computer, my main network, going out, this will allow traffic to tend to the camera subnet. So, and then I do inbound too. Or I should have, I don't know, I have it in here somewhere, but you do basically the same thing. Otherwise, Windows Firewall will block it. And you can test that by shutting off Windows Firewall if you're trying to ping. So, if I ping my NVR, this is my security camera brain. You can see that it's not working now. So anyway, the point is kind of how to allow it to pass traffic through a VPN using pfSense. What I found out was I actually had to use split tunnel, and then I had to add an IP address. And if I add 10.0.1.0/24, or you could just add, the IP address without the /24, but we'll just do this. And this will bypass the VPN. And now we can see I'm actually getting communication with the VPN turned on. And yeah, so basically you have to, when you're using split tunnel, if you're using private internet access and you have like security cameras on a different subnet, and you don't want to have to shut off the VPN to connect to the cameras, because it'll keep the feed alive if your cameras are constantly feeding. Most routers, I think, will keep that transfer alive. So I could toggle off the VPN, connect to the camera app. Connect to this camera app, connect to the cameras, and then turn the VPN back on, and the cameras would stay working. But we can see now that I turn that on, this is actually connected and working, I think. Maybe not. My eyes are bad. Connected. Yeah, so see, it says connected here now to the NVR. There we go. This should pop up in a second, I think. There it goes. I'm streaming to YouTube and stuff, so it is a little slower than usual. But you can see they pop up now. And if I go ahead and where'd that split tunnel go? if I disable that rule, and then close this, and then reopen it. It's already running, it says, even though it isn't. Go to devices. You can see here, this can't connect. And I'm going to try just adding the one address just to lock it down a little bit better. Oh, it should work. Let me close this out and restart. Give it a second. Yeah, I can ping it now, so should work. Come on, come on. Really? All right. Yeah, now it's connected. So, basically you can see that. So, now let's try the Windows firewall. I'm just going to disable any, actually I have to turn it on. Because I turned it off when I was testing. Okay, and I'm going to close this out. And I'm killing it in Task Manager off screen. So, okay. Now we should see, yep, it works. And if we go to the advanced, oops. We can actually delete that, I think. I'm going to disable this rule. And we're just going to do a ping. Oh, so that actually worked. Maybe because I added the program. Well, no, I don't know why that's working. This is kind of weird with the scope rules. Sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't. Like when I was setting up an IPsec VPN in pfSense, I had it all set up and everything was like perfect. But I could not get it to connect and couldn't I couldn't connect to the VPN until I added this scope rule. That's a different subject, but so if you ever do need to allow through Windows, if just the computer isn't doing it, you can add these scope rules, either by IPs or just by the whole entire subnet or network itself. But that's basically it. So, you know, if you have stuff on a different subnet and you're using split tunnel, with this, make sure you come into Split Tunnel and add the IP address that you need, and that'll allow you to pass traffic through.